Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a book review of Behind Closed Doors by B.A. Paris. This is going to be a spoiler-free review, so feel free to keep on watching even if you haven't read the book before. I hope you enjoy it. Kind of psychological thrillers or Gone Girl type books, but if you are, I highly recommend reading Behind Closed Doors. I did give the book a 4 out of 5 on my Goodreads page, so if you want to read my fully extensive review on Goodreads, I'm going to have a link down below to my review on there. And I'm kind of going to go into a little bit further why I only gave it 4 out of 5 stars instead of 5 stars, because I did really enjoy this book. But there were just a couple of things that I did wish were slightly different about it. Behind Closed Doors is one of those stories that as soon as you start reading it, you're instantly captivated by these characters. And the main couple in the story, Jack and Grace, are kind of this picture-perfect couple. They've got the perfect house, they host perfect dinner parties, and they're kind of painted out to be just kind of this couple that everyone's envious of. They lead this great life, they travel all the time, but they're not so perfect that you don't like them. For some reason, they've just got these characteristics and qualities about them that you just really like them, even though they're so perfect, and you're kind of just like wanting to be friends with these people or be a part of their perfect little life that they have with their friends. As their life kind of progresses and they move into this beautiful home, they start hosting all these really lavish dinner parties, and everybody's always in awe of how Grace can keep her slim figure and cook these really great elaborate meals. And it starts to all come into question as a new friend to the group just meets Jack and Grace, and you can tell that she's a little bit suspicious of them, and that's when you really start to see through the writing that something's not quite right. While this couple is completely perfect and everything in their life is great, something just seems a little bit off. You start to get clues from the writer that something isn't okay. So as the writing progresses, you slowly start to figure out that their marriage is actually not perfect at all, and Jack is basically holding Grace captive in their own home. Now, I don't want to go into too many details about that because I did say this is going to be spoiler free, but the story then follows you along this path of Grace trying to free herself from this situation and really showing readers that everything isn't always as it seems. So this picture perfect marriage is actually the polar opposite. So the main conflict throughout the story is very clearly between Jack and Grace. B.A. Paris does a really good job of very quickly giving you information about Jack that you are really just hating him. He's a strong villain throughout the whole story, and you're kind of constantly rooting for Grace and hoping that she's gonna figure out a way to outsmart him, which is kind of cool because there are all these twists and turns throughout the story where you are surprised at something that happens, whether she's trying to leave him or he stops her in some way. And it's one of those books that you're constantly just turning the page wondering like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen next? I know I mentioned in the beginning of the video that I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars instead of a full 5 stars. And you're probably wondering why, because I'm talking about how great this book and how much I really enjoyed reading it. One of the main reasons I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars is because there was some very descriptive, like, violent scenes and also some scenes about animals that, while I understand they were necessary for the story because of just the history and stuff like that, the scenes were necessary for the story, I felt like they could have been prefaced or they just seemed a little bit too much for where the story was heading, and I kind of thought that there could have been a better way to incorporate that without it being so graphic, I guess you could say. I guess I'm not really into like super like violent thrillers. I like the more psychological side of it, so I wasn't really expecting that. But yeah, other than that, the story, I really enjoyed it. So that was kind of the main reason it didn't get the full 5 stars for me. Now that being said, that I wanted to kind of get that out of the way first, the main reason why I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. But I wanted to talk about all the positive things about the book and the things that I really enjoyed about it. So one of my favorite things about the book was the writing style of B.A. Paris. So she has this technique where the whole story is told from Grace's point of view, but you get to see different aspects of the timeline of the story as she's writing. So first, there's a chapter where it's in the past where she and Jack first met and you're just kind of getting introduced to their relationship. It jumps forward to the present tense where you're experiencing Grace's captivity with her and you're rooting for her and you're trying to determine what's going to happen next, and you're slowly learning little pieces about the past and what led them to this point, which is kind of cool because you're not given everything all at once. And that's the best part to me about a psychological thriller, is that you are given all these little puzzle pieces that you're trying to fit together, and then in the end there's some sort of big climax that you're like, whoa, I had no idea, I didn't see that coming. And that's what I really enjoyed about this book, was the writing style and getting to learn different aspects of Grace's life as through a longer period of time, instead of just being a story only told in present tense. Now, another thing that I really enjoyed about this book is that it was kind of a quick and easy read. I'm always looking for things that, books that are going to captivate me enough that I'm going to want to sit for 2 hours straight and not stop reading. Sometimes I know a book isn't a great book to me if it's easy for me to put it down, and this book was definitely not easy for me to put it down. I recently went on a short vacation, and that's when I read this book, and I found myself reading it the whole time we were in the car, reading it any chance that I got while we were on our trip, and it was a really good read for that sort of environment. And it's also a nice one, even if you only have a half hour here or there, that you'll want to just take with you because you want to read the next part. I would love to hear if you guys have read this book before. I also know that B.A. Paris has another book that just came out that I'm super excited to pick up, so let me know if you've read that one as well. And again, like I said in the beginning, I did post my review of this book on Goodreads, so I'll link that down below to my Goodreads page so you guys can read my review of this book extensively. So thanks guys for stopping by for my book review. I really enjoyed doing this. It's definitely something I want to keep doing on my channel. I know I have a couple of books coming up that I'm planning to review, but if you guys have anything you'd recommend, please let me know down below, and I hope you enjoyed it.